Greetings from Studio 84. Welcome to this episode of Business Chronicles at Studio 84, where we host our friends in business to tell us their stories, about their journey and so on. Here at Studio 84. Studio 84 is a podcast platform. It's a podcast studio, really, in Bugolobi along Lithuli Avenue that is set up to empower individuals and businesses to create and own their own content, tell stories, and position themselves as an authority at whatever they do. And today, it's my pleasure to host an interesting gentleman. He's a young man. I hope he allows me, but he's a big man in some spaces. A man who has many big hats that all have an titles that have R in them. He's a doctor, he's a pastor. I don't know what other title he's going to tell me that he wears. And Dr. Steve, tell us, please introduce yourself. I can't do you an injustice. So you introduce yourself.
Wow. It gives me great pleasure to be here, Solomon. My name is Stephen Mugabe. I'm a pastor, as you said.
Yeah.
I serve as a zonal pastor at Worship Harvest Ministries, specifically Worship Harvest Downtown.
Yeah.
I'm also an elder in Worship Harvest Ministries. My wife and I are elders.
I told you more titles were coming.
I'm a doctor.
Yes.
I founded Code Clinic 12 years ago.
Yeah.
It's a dental practice on Kira Road. I'm a father to
More
3.
titles.
Yes. I'm a husband.
Oh, yeah.
A one daft.
Yes.
And I have many other roles that in life, really.
Okay.
Yeah. But mainly, most are pastoral.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dr. Steve.
Yes.
You're arguably you're arguably the first person I've hosted on Business Chronicles who is a true professional, the person who is doing what they actually studied in school, the person who did not waste time in school. Most of us went studied economics and now doing these media things and photography. Many people who have sat in that chair, Dr. Steve, are doing stuff they never studied in school. So I can, congratulations. Your parents.
Thank you. I have the record at Studio 84 for being the first professional.
For the first proper
profession.
professional. Yeah. So I have to ask, why dentistry? I don't even know whether that's the thing. Why a dentist and not a pediatrician and not...
That's a very good question. Yeah. Are you ready for my long answer?
We have a maximum of 30 minutes.
Oh, wow. Anyway, so growing up, I used to go to the dentist a lot. I had painful upper teeth. And they couldn't find what was wrong with me. And so I was always in the waiting room. And I liked how the dentist was handling people. Yeah. Now, my parents, my dad is a doctor. My mom is a nurse. They met in the hospital.
I can imagine.
And so they already had an influence on me.
Yeah.
And I always thought I wanted to be a doctor, but I didn't want to sleep on a ward.
Yeah.
Yeah, night duty was not my thing. So I kept that at the back of my mind as I was studying, that I must go to do something medical. Yeah. But it wasn't going to be being a general doctor or a pediatrician, anything like that. I just wanted
the one they... You don't want the one they call in the middle of the night.
No, I didn't like it. I wanted time freedom. Yeah. That I can practice, then do other things. And, reading about and looking at what was happening, the dentists seemed to have the time that they could work on for themselves and still serve people. Yes. Still solve pain problems and make a living out of it.
And still have a life, so to say.
Yes. Yes. So just because of having painful teeth all the time and hanging out at the dentist helped me think of that, or biased me towards that. So I started researching more and more about that. Now, fortunately for me, I found out that I had something. My teeth were not the problem.
Hey.
It was, I had recurrent infections of the sinuses. The sinuses are spaces above the teeth, just around the nose. So they were getting, I had allergies, I had So they were always, you know, inflamed.
Yes.
So they were referring pain to my teeth.
Wow.
So the dentist referred me to ear, nose, throat, and I got my problem solved. But I was already sold into.
But that damage, or the damage was already done to decide what you wanted to be.
Yeah. So when we go to apply for in A level to choose courses, you either did medicine, pharmacy, dentistry, and the punishment for failing to get the points for all those was going to study education.
Greetings to all my educationists out there.
So I made sure I studied so hard because the teachers, our teachers in biology in A level, were always crying about how they didn't get to become doctors.
Yeah.
And that's why they had to do what they had to do.
Yeah.
So I was like, no, I don't want to be like these guys because they're always complaining. They don't look happy. I'm going to work hard and get into this course, dentistry. Yeah.
Wow. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but I know your tagline, or one of your taglines at Code, is where there is no pain but gain.
Oh, yes.
Why is this whole pain thing a big deal? I know it has really done you well because my family goes to Code Clinic. Why is this whole pain thing a big deal?
So you must have heard, dentists are not portrayed in the best light out there. People associate us with pain.
Yes.
So it's just a psychological thing. That when someone thinks dentist, they just see pain.
Yes.
And once I got into the profession, I was like, I need to change this whole perspective because you can visit a dentist without pain, without going through a painful procedure. Yes, there are some procedures which will be painful, but there are procedures which are painless.
Which don't have to be painful.
Yeah, which don't have to be painful. So I am always trying to convince people that, guess what? You can have the treatment you need without pain.
Yes.
And that's what we are out to do. And we keep preaching that gospel, if you like. That it's possible to have, actually, dental diseases are 100% preventive. 100% preventive.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dr. Steve, you now take me to a conversation that I was hoping to come to later, but about the gospel.
Yes.
The real gospel now.
Yes.
Tell me about the gospel. When we grew up in Anglican families, strict Catholic families. We are Anglican, Catholic or Muslim. And as we're growing up, pastors, the Pentecostal pastors were always shed in not so good light. So I find it interesting that you're deep into this whole evangelism, pastoral thing. What was the turning point, and why not carry on the same ways of the gospel that raised us? Also, it's really interesting to find a qualified, thriving doctor, preaching the gospel on a daily, because I'm told church begins on Monday. What's the story there?
Well, the gospel, the foundation we had was very good, and it taught us to be good people. And you're right, Pentecostal churches really never had a good reputation.
Yes.
Until I think, from my recollection, until Kampala Pentecostal Church came to the scene, which is now a total church.
Yeah.
And it really shaped I could say my peers.
Yes.
We started going to that place and learning about the gospel. And there was a big drive towards doing good for your community.
Yes.
Paying school fees for the
children, for the watoto.
Yes. Going to have an influence on your community.
Yeah.
And from that, one thing led to another, to other groups.
Yeah.
And you realize that you can't keep the good news. If the gospel is good news, you can't keep it yourself. Yeah? Yeah, it's you have to be bold, step out and start more or less preaching.
Yes.
Which is evangelizing other people. But if you have a good story, if you really believe that God saved you, you can't keep quiet about it.
No.
Yeah. So I had to join the bandwagon. Because God saved me.
Yeah.
You know, someone who's with a professional background, really scientific background,
Yes.
they will tell you that it's intellectually unfair to yourself to say that you believe in faith when there is science.
That's what I was coming to.
Yeah, and we had those theories in school.
Yeah.
In especially A level, where they are telling you there's the Big Bang, then there's you know, faith, and there's evolution. But in my first year, one of my grandfathers died, and I went to the mortuary to identify his body. And when we saw it, I just knew there was more to life than these theories.
Yes.
It gave me a reflection.
Yes.
And I just started seeking what is the truth about faith. And in there, I got experiences that convinced me that there is such a thing as faith. The gospel is actually real.
Yes.
And so it's very hard for someone who has not had an experience. They can easily rub it off, say it's not real. But what I got, no one can take it away. I was challenged by people of faith.
Yes.
To say, to decide, are you a believer or are you a doctor? Because they're like, you claim to be a Christian.
Exactly.
But you speak like someone who's not a Christian.
Yes.
Your confessions are not of a Christian. I was like, what do you mean? They're like, you should think about what you really believe.
Yes.
So that made me go down the whole thing of what do I really believe? How did I come to believe? What is true about this? And indeed, the gospel is true. That would be, we need another whole day for that, really, yeah? If you want the evidence of what I came across and all that stuff,
Yeah.
this is not the right time for it.
No.
But just to give you, like, I got healed of asthma.
Yeah.
I got healed of migraines supernaturally. And these are things I'd suffered with for many years. So, for me, as a doctor, I know the science of disease. But I also now know the science of faith.
Yes.
That one supersedes the other. So, you could say both are true, but one is superior to the other. Faith is superior. And so, I would be intellectually unfair to myself if I didn't believe in faith, instead of believing just in the science.
Yes.
Actually, science has roots in faith.
Faith.
Yeah.
You have to have some level of faith to even believe in science anyway. You mentioned something in there, Dr. Steve. In first year, you went to identify your grandfather's body. In first year, you were what, 20, around there maybe?
I think so.
And I'm sure you had your parents, your uncles, your what?
Yes.
How did you end up in the mortuary at that age to identify your grandfather?
So I had to go with my uncle, when my grandfather died, my uncle was not around, and he wanted to come and identify that it's his father. Really.
Yes.
He just to make sure that it's him, and then to go ahead and do the purchases of the casket and all that. So we went together. Because we were running around together.
Yes,
that
yes.
stuff. So I had the opportunity.
That's how you ended up there.
In the mortuary, yeah.
Never knowing how it will change your life.
Exactly.
I mean, it's that's so true. You just never know. These random daily encounters, they all lead up to. You are a professional, Dr. Steve.
Yes.
You have your full day. How is your responsibility inside as a church leader, so to say? How do you merge those two? How do you find time to do them both? Do you do them together at the same time? Are they to use the mutually exclusive? You tell us how you go about your day.
So my day, there's no living two parallel lives.
Yeah.
It's the same.
Yeah.
I'm a pastor. Official duties run on Sunday.
Yeah.
But they can also go through Monday up to Sunday.
Yeah.
So I can say that as a doctor, the best pastors are doctors.
Do tell.
Care. They really care
yes,
for
yes.
people. If they are genuinely there to care for people,
Yeah.
then they're the best because they're looking for how to help this person improve their life. They're looking at you holistically. Like, okay, you have a toothache, but maybe let's look at your diet as well. Let's look at where are you coming from. Let's also take care of the soul issues. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they tend to ask many questions to find the root cause of things. And for me, I find that it's easy to merge those two.
Yes.
And so because I don't work alone, I work with people.
Yeah.
They need some pastoral care.
Direction also. Yeah.
And also you may encounter once in a while clients, and their root cause, when you drill down, is they need pastoral care. So as the Spirit leads, I'm not going to load it over everyone who comes to my practice. There's nothing to show that Saint Stephen, this
dental practice.
Yeah, we want to deal with Christians. No. It's as the Spirit leads, you may listen to someone and you realize their issue. They just need to be listened to. And they came for dental treatment, but they get more. Also, your workmates, they need help, they need guidance. So there's no separating the two. And that would be like living two different lives,
double life, so to say, yes.
Yeah, so the people you work with, those are the people you spend the most time with. So they had better see the real you. And you better guide them through. Yeah, if I feel like they have an issue, I usually tell them that I'm a person, I also get issues.
Yes.
So please tell me so that I give you time off. You need to deal with that. Or let's talk.
Yes.
Because there are solutions. I know people who have solutions for this, and this.
Wow.
Yeah. Don't suffer like that. I know that when you come to work, you may be dealing with a lot, but there are solutions to this. I also have a prayer altar at our workplace. On Monday morning, we pray together. We've had even Muslims join us because there were Muslim students who are doing internship. We told them, we are here to pray. If you feel comfortable joining us,
join us, yes.
Yeah, if you don't feel, it's okay. Yeah. And they joined us.
Wow.
Yeah, so being a pastor or being in ministry is a full-time job. So I think it would not be okay for you to just keep it aside on Monday.
Yes.
And people don't know that you're a pastor. Because then they really need answers.
Yes, they do.
And I've had so many encounters with especially clients who are having other issues and came in for teeth issues. Can I give you an example?
Yeah.
So there's this lady, she one evening broke down in my chair, started crying.
Hey.
I asked her, what is wrong? And she told me she had just got news from her obs-gyn that she was not able
to have
conceive.
Wow.
I said, I know people who have had supernatural childbirth. They had stories of how they couldn't conceive and they have conceived. So let me pray with you. I'm like, you're a person of faith, right? Yes. Let me pray with you, and it should be okay that you'll get a child. She's like, okay. We prayed. I said, me, I'm going to wait when you come back with a testimony. And indeed, I did see her for like over a year. When she came back, she had a bouncing baby boy.
Yo, with evidence.
With evidence. And so, this year I met an Uber driver, female Uber driver. She dropped me at church, from clinic to church. So we had a conversation. And I said, how can I pray for you? Because she's like, oh, I also have an issue of conception. If I can get a baby, that will really, really solve a lot of emotional trouble, family trouble. I said, worry not. Let me pray for you.
I've done this before.
I even knew when you get a baby, come and you saw my workplace. Come and tell me that. She's like, I'll bring the baby. So we shall wait and see when. I'm just waiting for the evidence to mature.
Wow.
Yeah. So it would be unfair to say ministry only happens in church.
No.
Because people are not only in church. People, actually, the rubber hits the road on Monday. Yeah. Sunday is when you're coming to be refueled so that you go back to give what.
Wow. Hence church begins on Monday.
Yes.
Dr. Steve, I've been to your clinic. I know you work with young people, Gen Z, so to say.
Oh, yes.
And I know we have a lot to say about that generation.
Yes.
What has your experience been like, you in the professional line of things?
Well, it's as interesting as others say about Gen Zs. Yeah. For me, what I decided, again, even without being a pastor, that people will not come into my space and live worse than they came. They have to live better. So whatever I'm reading, they have to read. Whatever I am learning, they have to learn. So it's for fighting because we are from different backgrounds, but they learn anyway because I learned earlier that they were leading me, because whatever I told them to do, they were not doing. So they were basically leading me. I said, wait, I'm the leader here. I have to lead. So I'm going to have to insist.
I like that angle. If you're telling your people what to do and they are not doing it, then they are leading you, you're not leading them.
You're not leading them.
Wow.
Yeah. So I said, I'm going to insist, and I'm going to be the one. I would get angry. I was like, but I have a solution to this. Why am I getting angry? Just insist people have to do what I want them to do.
Yeah.
And I stick. Say you must do what you're supposed to do. So of course they have all these excuses, timekeeping, what. But generally, there's no one who has come into my space that has not improved. How I can tell some of them, regrettably, later, they say, the reason I got another job is because of the things you taught me.
Yeah.
I had fired them because they were not willing to change. Others, I've met their relatives who say, I want to be your friend. I'm like, why? That's because of the impact you've had on my niece or nephew.
Yes.
I want to know the books you're reading so that I also read because they have shown me how you're making them read books which are not dental related at all.
Yes.
And I was like, wow, that's good to hear that I've had an impact on someone's life. I genuinely want them to be better. Wow. So I realized because they're from a different generation, I have to insist on what I want.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they will keep leading me and not doing it.
Wow.
Yeah. I use both carrot
and stick. Wow, Dr. Steve. I also know you're in this this business organization, this business group called BNI.
Yes.
You've been there for what?
9 years.
9 years.
We make 10 years next year.
Wow. Tell me about BNI. I am in BNI. Have been there for 7 years. How old is COD?
COD is 12 years.
So you've been in, you joined BNI 3 years into the business.
2 years, actually.
2 years.
Yeah.
How did BNI help you or not help you move this code thing forward?
So I like to say BNI changed my business.
Yeah.
Saved my business. Without BNI, I don't think Code Clinic would be there.
Wow.
So long time ago, I learned, I don't remember from where, that people do business with people they know, they like, and trust.
Yes.
And that's the first thing I had when I entered the BNI room.
You said,
I
will dwell in this
I'll
land.
Stay here and make those relationships work.
Yeah.
And I decided to stay. BNI is now, people are warming up to BNI in Uganda.
Yeah.
Who are a lonely group. Yeah.
For many years.
For many years, because most of the market in Uganda is full of hunters.
Yeah.
They are not willing to sit down and build relationships. They want to sell and go. So we encountered many people like that. They would come, sell, and go. But because of staying in BNI, it has helped me change. It helped me change my attitude. It helped me with, they say you're the average of the people you hang out with.
Yes.
So I got a new average.
Your average. Yeah. Have your new average.
Yes, because the people who are there had been doing business for 10, 15, 20 years. And I was like, there's a lot to learn from these people. And indeed, when they came to me to check out my business, they're like, change this. Don't practice this. Go work on this. I even got financing from BNI. I got legal advice. I got a lot of support. And so I knew that this is, but above all, clients. Yeah? So the people, the first day in the room, everyone has an accountant, a dentist. Why should we come to you? But my attitude was in the right place as well. I was like, yeah, I'm here to build relationships. I also have a lawyer.
Yes.
I have an accountant.
Yes.
Why should I come to you?
Yes.
We're here to build relationships. So let's stay, build relationships. We shall learn to trust each other, like each other, and do business. And now the people in BNI swear how they are best friends.
That's true. That's
because
true.
they meet every week.
Wow.
And there's a lot of accountability. So you can't be saying that you deliver a painless experience and then you go and deliver
a painful one.
Because people will be seeing you on Friday and saying, what is that?
There's a lot of pain with the gain.
So it's a good space. Talk about your average, and up your average. BNI helps up your average. And then there's always something new to learn. I love learning. I was once in the academic space, so for me, learning is not a problem.
Shall we return on another episode to talk about the academic space?
Oh, yes.
Many things amaze me about BNI, but what's most amazing is how almost by default, when you reach out to a BNI member, even when they had never met you, almost always they are willing to go out of their way and help. It's such an interesting space. If you're a business owner and you don't know about BNI or you have not heard about it, you should.
There is a book by who? Stephen Covey. I think it's about the speed of trust. So BNI helps increase trust quickly because they know that the businesses which are in BNI have been vetted, they are credible. It's easy to make a decision. But this is a BNI member. I can trust them.
Yes.
That's what it helps with.
Yes.
It increases the speed of trust. Outside there, to build trust takes a long time. So that's one of the things that you can call up a member in China. And they easily connect you and say, oh, you're welcome, because they know I can trust a BNI member. Even you willingly take yourself there because you're like, BNI did all the work for me to make sure that I'm dealing with someone credible.
Yes. Many people say, I found a family in BNI. And when you think about it, family are people who are always there for each other, who trust each other, who will go out of their way to support each other. And I feel like that's exactly how it is. You found a business family, people who will trust each other just by belonging to a family of, in this family, we don't do these things, or in this family, we believe in this. Thank you so much, Dr. Steve. It was good having you here. Definitely 30 minutes is not enough to exhaust your story. We'll be very happy to have you. We closed on a BNI note. If you want to learn more about BNI, I'll drop a phone number down here. Call it. Someone there will tell you all about BNI. And looking forward to having you on the next episode of Business Chronicles. It's been Dr. Steve Mugabe, and I'll drop his contacts down here, as well as the social handles to Code Clinic and so on. If you had a painful experience with your dentist, your prayer has been answered. We'll see you on the next episode. Thank you so much, Dr. Steve.
My pleasure.
All right.